bright and early every Tuesday morning.
Come on, get up now, man. You like to sleep too much?
Wake up!
It's time for breakfast.
Let me start you off with one you never hear. Now, you hear this?
Since I get in with this red girl, Diane, every morning she acting strange. I used to wine and dine without a plan, but now me eating habits change. Because every morning, Diane in the kitchen, eating all me food and still crying. Sweetie pie, obstinate, breakfast. You will reach to work late, breakfast. You move in lazily, 6 o'clock on baby.
Soon it will be past.
Breakfast. Talk the swami bout she last July. He say he know she in St. Martin. He say as soon as he open he eye, she at the fireside cooking. Chalky say he took a stand. He must relax his man before he pray fast with Diane. Sweetie pie, obstinate, breakfast. You will reach to work late, breakfast. You move in lazily, 6 o'clock on baby.
Soon it will be past. Breakfast. Hey, welcome to episode 184 of the Quarry Shepherd Podcast. Rapman. Bright and early Tuesday morning. Don't let nobody tell you the voice of the great King Obstinate. Salute to King Obstinate, one of the greatest ever do. Right, legendary. Google him. Songs for years. How are they going? How was all the week? Somebody tell me every week I just tell them have a productive week, and then I will check back in with nobody to see how the week was and if it was productive or not. I don't need to do that this week because Oli only worked about 1 or 2 days last week. Very, very, very Trinidadian. Very Trinidadian. Oli enjoyed the short week. Oli enjoyed the long weekend. Oli Corpus in the Christie. Oli arrived in the Indians. What went on? Oli had a good time. You plant something. You cook curry. What we do over the last weekend? We back for a long week again, and we here bright and early, despite popular belief. So, where this went on? Where I leave it last week, I'm feeling like right where I leave it last week is where we had to pick it back up this week because a couple major stories going on in the country right now. Which one Oli I'm gonna start with? Oli I'm gonna go with Christmas list. Christmas list come to Trinidad, as we say last week, went in every area. I hope when I talk about it last week, Oli get to go and look at it, right? I hope Oli get to go and take it in and thing because now all the videos that he do on YouTube that I was encouraging to go and check out last week, they are now removed from YouTube, silenced on his page. So, but you can see his older work, right? It's important for context for you to check out his older work, check out what he's been doing because what he has done, what he did in Trinidad is not different from what he was doing all about. If you didn't tune in last week, Christmas is a popular YouTuber. Salute to Maurice Burke, right? Maurice Burke said, stop calling all people content creators. But I think it's a journalist. I think it's pretty safe to say he's a YouTuber and content creator who goes around and shows. Let me put it like this, right? He shows countries for what they are more or less because he is going into the deeper, darker areas. Let me talk about Trinidad, right? He was in La Horquetta, he was in Gonzalez, he was downtown. I think he went Sealos. He went several different areas where me and you probably wouldn't go, right, on our own accord. Unless, of course, we have a grinder account because one of the new popular things in Trinidad is if you don't have grinder and you don't know what grinder is, go and download it, right? And see if you find a match, right? See if you find a match. Look for an app called Grinder, put it on your phone, and look for a match. But what happened these days is people who looking for a mate who a mate. Let me just leave it at that, right? Who looking for a mate? Go in and use Grinder to find people. Because a long time you had to go in a club, you had to try and talk to somebody, you had to get up the courage to go and talk to a woman and say that and try and see if you could get in and them kind of thing. But that's not necessary anymore. People don't go through that again. People going straight to dating apps and they swipe left and they swipe right. And who swipe right with them? You exchange your information. But the way most of them is work, this is why I hear, I don't know nothing about this, but the way most of them is work is that if you don't like the person, you swipe left. But if you like the person, you swipe right. And when you swipe right and the other person swipe right too, them like you too, then we have a match and we could share each other personal contact information. So the scene on Grindr now is that people swiping right on everybody, and everybody who's sweet, you're more hot than sweet sometime, and you're going to match up and meet up with people. They're telling you, come back to my apartment on Upper Charlotte Street, otherwise known as Shafford. Come to my apartment, come to me on George Street and meet me. And man going, man like so man going up in his spot in the hood. And that is about 12 man in meeting. Which, according to how you're swinging, that could be a great time, but it's rob people getting robbed. So that's what is happening with people. But when me and you ain't going, Christmas tends to go, right? Christmas is Canadian. Christmas race and ethnicity is murky to me. I don't know if you're black, white, or indifferent. You look like a white boy from Canada. And what I was saying last week is, he was here and he went into several areas. I want to give him credit too because he did cover Despa's Panyard. I believe he was with, I think in Liam Teague. That's the wrong name. One of the more popular pan men, the name not coming to mind right now. I believe he do Maracas and Bacon Shark. So it's not like he only do anything. But the point I was making last week is that you could see a vast difference in his views of controversial things like Lil Youth Men holding guns and Gonzalez. Coincidentally, the second biggest story I come to talk about here today is coming out of Gonzalez, right? Where is shootout in the streets of Gonzalez overflowing into the hospital where me and you could be going for care or going to check a loved one or going to work or passing by, and this is what we had to witness as Trinidad and Tobago now. This is what we come to. But Christmas going up in the hood, show them fellas and them their face hidden sometimes for the most part, and with some big guns. 7.62 comes to mind, right? With caliber bullets and so on that people walking around with. And it's a frightening sight. It's a frightening Trinidad and Tobago that we're looking at, that me and you. And I admit that I bury in my head in Nissan. I was going to say that me and you mightn't know anything about it at all, but maybe it's just us burying our heads in Nissan because the evidence is out there. The articles every day showing you the kind of weapons people use in a murder every day. And that is what it was. The weekend I was saying that long weekends is be bloody. It looked like the gangsters take a little relax this weekend. It wasn't as bad as some of the other long weekends before. But that's who Christmas List is, and that's what he does. And he's been going around. I saw videos of him, as I said, from Afghanistan and Pakistan, several places in the States and so on. And he came here and did the very same thing. So he, soon after his biggest videos published, hundreds of thousands of views and so on, the news came out that he was arrested. Well, first it came out that he was missing. The first thing you hear is that he was missing and nobody don't know where to find Christmas. And it sounded like if one of them fellas in Gonzalez keep him. That's what it was sounding like initially. You remember the man who walk across Trinidad? What was his German fellow named Little Youth Man? Walk all the way across the country. Now he planning to walk around Tobago barefoot. Now, you know, but he raising funds for lupus. So it's a good cause, but the attention grabbing thing of this era on YouTube and content creators is the currency comes in the form of the likes and the shares. Oh, by the way, like and share and subscribe this video, right? And turn on notifications. I always forget to say that, but the currency comes from there because the more people, let me say, like from an algorithm standpoint, right? If I pause our podcast this weekend, a lot of people rush to see it as soon as it comes on. That's the point of turning on notifications. If plenty of people rush to see it one time, it will suggest it to other people who like you. And I will get my views up. And potentially, if my views go high enough, my subscribers get high enough, that's how I get paid. So for the people who say, like, doing it for the likes and doing it for the likes have money behind it. If I put out videos there that gain a lot of traction, as we see in with people like Christmas, you could, and his name is Chris Hughes, right? Just again saying Christmas List over and over a song, so it feels so dumb. But if you're getting that attention could lead to a good little income for you. Keep in mind when Christmas going up in these spots, Christmas Gucci down, Gucci down to the socks. You know what I mean? To meet with the gangsters and so on, and tan men. But he was the guy who was walking across Trinidad and planned to walk across Tobago barefoot or around Tobago barefoot, he come on almost in tears and shaking and saying he frightened because Christmas missing, and then now find out Christmas got arrested. Several local influencers or area leaders, community figures, and so on that he would have interviewed was spreading concern across the socials, saying Christmas gone. Now Christmas is arrested. The information was coming fast. I don't think I ever see anybody from here published as much as this person over the last 4 days. Every newspaper, when I say newspaper, I'm talking Trinidad, what do you call them? Express, Guardian, Newsday, along with even the news websites like Loop TT. Well, don't talk for MYOB and the social media news sites, news before the news, stink to all of them. Several times per day, seeing articles coming out about this. And this is the point I'm making, right? My overarching point, as I was saying last week, is that sometimes the way we treat with foreigners, there's so much local video creators here, content creators, podcasters like myself, who's struggling for some views and some coverage. And again, I want to credit Michael Mondesi, who would have highlighted people like Certified Samson, Junior Lee, and the crew doing putting in a lot of work and doing good work here. But you have so much content creators here struggling to find their way in this space and who would love the kind of coverage. I would love somebody to write articles. Give me 2 articles a day for a whole long weekend, you know what I mean? To promote what it is I come in to talk about. But we fetishize foreigners, you know. I want to stop short of just short of saying white people, right? But we fetishize foreigners where, number one, the fetish came when we saw it last week, where they could get access to go into areas to do videos and answer questions and speak to them that I don't feel I could do that. I don't know if I get any kind of content he getting if I go into the area. And I don't know like any kind of views he get out of Trinidad and Tobago if I just go as a Trini going there and doing this kind of thing. I don't know if anybody following that, people. I have my doubts, right? But the warm and welcoming and loving arms that people open up, people like Johnny Bravo and not Philip Alexander, Sergeant Alexander, and the likes of the people who we saw in the videos, the youths, the subjects of the videos, because his headline or his title for the video is going into the most wanted men in Trinidad and Tobago. It's sensationalized too. So again, as an algorithm game, because the way it's titled the videos as well cause more people to want to click on it. And that's the fetishizing of it. You're seeing the fetishizing of foreigners again when this is the biggest story. He get locked up. More people getting locked up here all the time for all different types of things. I saluted Maurice Burke. I was glad to be able to follow some of the things that Maurice was posting, and also he's a man like to debate, right? Much more than me. I like to talk into a mic and turn off the mic and forget what I say. But I think he was making such an important point to people where they were talking about sedition without looking through what the sedition laws are. The sedition law, these laws are available to everybody. If you Google Trinidad sedition law, you will see it. It's a long document, but I find when they first had that anti-gang legislation, the whole thing leaves a lot of room for interpretation by the enforcers of the law, the police in this case, right? There's things I've said on this podcast before over the years where I sure if somebody wanted to come and say that I was I could be charged for sedition or accused of sedition. I have 100 and some episodes. They could go through this and find enough to say sedition. Now, I understand why the laws exist as well, right? Because as falling under the umbrella of a wider anti-gang legislation, the premise is that the way gangs are organized, you have to have an organized approach to dealing with them. And it's like the old thing where they catch Al Capone on tax evasion, right? Rather than, you can't catch them for murder. It's so organized and well hidden. And he calls the shot. He never does the thing himself. So when you're trying to bring down a crime syndicate or a mob family, it's very, very difficult to do. So every country, probably in the world, you will find laws like these where we have to deal with organized crime, and it takes an organized approach. And I want to go a step further to say an approach that allows law enforcement to do what needs to be done, if you understand what I mean, without the normal normal rigor of evidence and so on, at least to bring people in for questioning and so on, if not to be able to charge and hold people. And that is what they hold him with. Based on what that law that Maurice would have published or that available online, he's done enough to be charged with sedition. I don't think they could. I seen people saying the thing, but of course, again, the fetishizing of foreigners is where in the comments you're seeing a whole bunch of people commenting how it's unjust without knowing before they even know what he charged for. It's unjust and this and that. And my thing is it unjust? I'm not sure. Is that a bad strategy by the police? Let me take all them things off the table. Is that a bad strategy by the police to bring this man in to see his raw footage to find out what was said and what was said by whom and who planning what and who going against and who's 6 and 7 and 8 and 9? Is it a bad strategy? Or if you was watching a Netflix movie, right? If you was watching Narcos, right? Narcos Mexico, and the Federales had bring in a blogger who went into the Sinaloa cartel and get a whole lot of information about them. And they brought that person in for questioning or to take the information or to take the tapes. Would you tune into the next episode? Wouldn't you find out like there's great police work? You know what I mean? I'm just asking that question, you know. Or did you ever watch a movie where the FBI was able to plant somebody in a New York crime family? I want to say it's the Gambino family, if I'm not mistaken. Donnie Brasco, I believe, is the name of the movie. You know, so I find we don't do enough for that type of work where, because if foreigners is what we like so much, and I know that bringing a foreigner in the country could get you to give up information that you wouldn't otherwise give up, and that will allow me to be able to move against you under anti-gang or any other legislation. I ain't talking about Christmas now, I'm talking about a random situation, right? If I am Erla or whoever responsible, Minister of National Security, one of the things I could do is say, hey, let me find the best crime bloggers all over the world. Let me cut a deal with these people and tell them, listen, all I want from you is to go in there and talk to these people. All them tapes you have in the end there is mine. I am sure one of these YouTubers or vloggers will make the deal, or wait for them to come and lock them up like a lock of Christmas, you know what I mean? I would admit that some part of me is feel good when I see white folks get locked up. Even if it's unjust sometimes. I mean, we went through this for 400 years, so part of me is just feel good about that. Sorry, I would like to apologize for that statement in advance, right? But do this work like undercover work? I'm not sure, you know, sting operation, like how much of those things we do, you know, you see it on any crime show you watch or any show about cartels or the drug world or the underworld, you find that those is common types of policing work. You find it all over the place. So I just asking myself, you know, if we against the idea of him getting arrested or the police using him for information because he's a foreigner and we don't like foreigners. Like a lot of people are real concerned about Trinidad reputation. All of a sudden people saying they bring this big international vlogger here and they're gonna lock him up. Trinidad looking bad again. We're looking like a 2x4 country. And I'm thinking, well, first I'm thinking that number one, I don't think anybody cares. Nobody pays attention to these issues in the same way that we think people pay attention to them here. I mean, people generally don't. This is domestic issues. I would love for us to run a quick poll online to find out how much people. Nobody is studying none of them things that are happening here. And I would say as well, if they did, how you think we looking now? Before Christmas come here and get locked up, you all think we was looking good in international eyes, like we looking like we have things under control and things so great. And I don't know that police embarrassing us in any way. So I would assume that beyond what was published on the video, it would be useful for them to look at all the raw footage, find out what other information he knows and move on that. Now, I will say that having had held him there for a full long weekend, as I'm recording this now, a scene where they're saying that he was granted bail, but they have to get his passport and so on, which is lodged in the Canadian embassy. I believe that's where he was from. And he is going to be given his bail, $100,000 bail, once they could hold on to his passport so he can't leave. Again, the sedition coming from the showing the guys with guns and videos, people saying they're facilitating gang gang activity or gang warfare, which is what it comes down to with these sedition laws, and you'll get charged. That facilitating could be financing, it could be glorifying, it could be using your platform for one to send threat to the next. It could be basically exposing 6 to 7. All that could be considered sedition under the laws. So he should be back out, if not tonight, tomorrow. I saw his attorney, Kristen somebody. Yeah, you would think that I don't have articles in front of me to talk about this, right? This is so great when they try to shoot from the hip a little bit. But his attorney, one of the last things I saw from his attorney is that he is pulling out of the case, which looks something not exactly right. There was a point over the weekend where it was rumored that he was taken on a tour, like the police take him out of the cell, carry him up in all the areas and ask him to point out things. From the way he talks, I don't think he will point out anything, or I don't think he will be very cooperative with the police. Like this from Alexander Bruzal from the Express. Christmasless tour did not happen. The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service has denied that Canadian YouTuber Christopher Hughes was taken on a tour of various areas of Laventille and East Port of Spain on Saturday. Senior TTPS officials told the Express yesterday that this information was not released through the Corporate Communication Department nor any senior officer involved in the investigation. The Express was told on Friday by 2 TTPS officers that Hughes was to be taken on a tour of areas in Laventille and East Port of Spain as the investigation into his videos featuring gang members continue. So that rise and died fast. Before we could before we could get any more information about it, they denied it. And the latest news is that he is given bail. So I'm sure he will be vocal when he comes out. He will be back on his Instagram. You see him petitions going around, which a lot of Trinidadians signing and so on. You know what I mean? A reading from the Express again from Ricky Ramdas. YouTuber and blogger Christopher Hughes, better known as Christmas List, was on Monday afternoon granted bail in the sum of $100,000 by a master of the High Court. Hughes was taken into custody last Tuesday, charged on Wednesday evening under, last Tuesday and charged on Wednesday evening under Section 4.1 of the Sedition Act. The charge stemmed from a video he posted. One sec. Sorry. The charge stemmed. If I could read this, would be good enough. The charge stemmed from a video he posted on YouTube after meeting various gang members in Trinidad, giving them a platform to showcase their firepower. Many of the gang members were brandishing high-powered weapons as they were interviewed by Hughes. This afternoon, Master Margaret Sukraj Goswami granted bail to Hughes in the sum of $100,000 to be approved by the Registrar of the High Court, or a cash alternative of $10,000. The Master also ordered that his passport, that is currently in the possession of the Canadian High Commission, be handed over to the High Court Registrar by noon tomorrow. Once he's able to access bail, Sukraj Goswami directed that he reside at the home of Kristen J. Williams in West Trinidad until he reappears in court on Thursday morning at 9 a.m. Yeah, so Kristen Williams is your attorney name, right? And I wonder, like, this is a normal practice in the legal for like how the court ordering that he had to stay by me. I see lawyer here stay home by me at entertain Christmas. Huh? All right, Christmas in July. They say Williams, who was seeking Hughes' legal interest since his arrest, yesterday indicated to the High Court that he was withdrawing himself from the matter. But he had no issue with Hughes staying at his residence for only 2 days. That is weird to me. I don't understand, like, what like, you're a big YouTuber, you have a whole set of views, you come here, you have money, like, pay and stay at Hilton, to Hyatt. Let's accept white folks. Like, why you had to stay home by one of the attorneys, especially the attorney done withdraw from the case already. That those strike you all as odd. Something ain't right. Former Attorney General Lannan Ramlogan and Russell Warner appeared for Hughes during the hearing, while Assistant Director of Public Prosecution Daniel Thompson appeared on behalf of the state. Okay, so I stand to see how, you know what I mean, when you say a certain attorney's name call and you hear the politicizing of issues, you tend to find that once issues go beyond a certain level of popularity, political parties will get involved. Evidence of this to be found in the Newsday. by Narissa Fraser. UNC defends Christmas list. He's given a voice to the people the PNM neglected. It was just a matter of time. And this, I tell you, there's no end to the amount of articles I could read about this here. Opposition Senator David Naked, none other than him, is defending Canadian YouTuber Christopher Christmas List Hughes, saying he's simply giving a voice to the young people in the ghetto. These same people, he added, have been neglected by the government. I say so. Hughes 45 was arrested. Hughes is 45? This is impressive. All my little Noxzema and Neutrogena and them thing wicked. Hughes 45 was arrested and charged with sedition last week after a police investigation into some of his vlogs in Trinidad and Tobago, which featured alleged gang members. He is set to appear in court. Well, you know all this already, right? So he appearing in court. He's trying to get his thing sorted out. He do that today. They grant him bail. So, is it? Can I get charged with sedition if I say UNC lawyer? And I probably shouldn't say that, right? But when you hear the names who Kristen Williams get per side, he's a small fry. You know what I mean? The big boys have come in, and big names are now behind this from a legal standpoint. So we wait to see where this goes. We wait to see what the statements made by Christmas List would be, because having traveled so much in the world, dealt with gangs, dealt with several situations like these, I expect that he may want to remove himself from any political affiliation or alignment, much like he has done with the situation with the gangs. He is basically saying he has no alignment with any gang or any kind of thing like that. So I expect him to do the same, but I expect that I wouldn't be surprised. Let me say it like that, right? I wouldn't be surprised if we find that the UNC well willing and able to try to parade him around as part of the campaign, that the government is not doing what it's supposed to do for youths in depressed areas and so on, and fueling the crime and all you know the argument that's going to come, right? So more on that Christmas list situation. I mean, I come here to talk about fetishizing foreigners, and I'm a damn self done talk about a foreigner for a half hour in the beginning of the podcast. You had to love it, right? You had to love it. I want you to know that any chance I get to play this song, I play it, right?
When they try to treat me unkind and take away what is mine, these are things I could put behind. But I demand respect from me countryman, who at least they should understand. In a way, I'm an alien, partisan man, who believe me own people call me foreigner. Both my parents are dead and gone. In Tobago where I was born, bless their soul. Without a doubt, anything that you talking about, in my country from north or south, I could walk straight and point it out. So shut your mouth, man. Understand, you should shame to call me foreigner. Tram car running up and down, round the savannah, round and round. I was there when the preacher they call Nosegay begged them crucify him up there. His I will run to drag him away. So what you say, man? In my land, immigration stamp me foreigner. Foreigner. just stay so and jump ashore? And who again will know Sukuyan dwell? And La Jobless walking like men, telling you go, come let we go. Mama yo, so I come, so I go. But don't ever call me foreigner, foreigner,
Voice of the great Lord Nelson, right? Is he fetishizing our foreigners? That's the name of the episode. Because we treating we own like foreigners, but we treating foreigners like kings. Even the way we lock them up, we don't put them in cells with other people and so on, I mean, it's keep them sitting on a chair for the whole long weekend and things. So I hear, I don't know how true. Now, the other story coming out of Gonzalez is this thing with the hospital, right? But before I get into that, I'll tell a little about more weekend a little bit, right? You don't really know a bias to the culture, right? And I had a long weekend, I had, well, I guess we all had a long weekend, right? Don't pun intended. But I tell you, I had class going on Saturdays and things. When I had class, I'd be tired, and every little thing I do in a class these days. I used to do class from sometime 8 in the morning till 5, 6 in the evening. Me and Dan used to do that Saturday and Sunday. And then other days, I used to have class 5:30 to 8:30 every day of the week, Monday to Friday, and then do class whole day Saturday and whole day Sunday. But you see, age. I want to tell you, right, that now my class is 8 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday to 10 o'clock, and like I just can't recover. It's take my whole day just to catch back myself from that one little class. So I in relax mode after class. Salute to my class. I have a class on digital economy, you know what I mean? Then a good class too. I enjoy in that class. The people with the online class thing, it's so difficult talking to this blank screen every day until I tell you, a student tell me the other day, she say, well, I started listening to your podcast now, and she was living in Germany at the time, and she said that I listen to your podcast all the time, and she said, class kind of like a podcast. I can't sit down and listen to that, but she says listen to it while I drive in and just follow it, and that's how she get information. So I treat the class now more like a podcast, and I just say what I say and cover what I need to cover. But this class is very interactive, so they make it easy. But tired I was when that class was done. Only to get reminded from salute to Chester Zambrano and Nigel Nicholson and all them at Star Broadcasting. To get reminded that I have a podcasting class to do Sunday. So I was like, to go and do this thing. I tell myself I'm relaxing when Sunday come. You know what I mean? I say, well, that is it. I done work for the weekend. And I had to go and do this class. But it's funny enough, right? I've been lecturing since 2010, maybe I get old enough. Since maybe 2010. And as I say, I lecture TTHDI, CTAL, CTS. I do lectures for UE and for Lockjack. Volunteer, they never pay me. I used to lecture in School of Higher Education in South and Nations University in Barbados. In Guyana, sorry. And it's like I get used to doing that, and you just show up for class. But somehow, right, this podcasting class, which is maybe the least complicated topic I talk about. Sometimes I have classes on econ or on digital economy. Sometimes you deal with complex topics with heavy verse and chapter coming behind it, and you have to guide students through 2 assignments and things. Literally, the podcasting class, all I need to go and do is show up and talk about my experience podcasting, the things I do and so on. But for some reason, that make me real nervous. I never seen nothing like this in my life. I started be doing breath control and so. I'm not sure what it is about that. Well, I show up for regular classes and land the plane every single time. I mean, I land the plane with the podcasting class too, but there's talk about this, any of you ever deal with this imposter syndrome thing? When people use these modern terms, I just get a little, I don't know what some of these things mean. I too old for some of these new modern concepts and terms. But I'm not sure what it is, but when they introduced me, salute to Chester, the course is a TV and podcasting course, right? So the students usually went through there on camera, and they know what it takes to deliver content and so on camera. So I usually come in late in the course to just guide them through basically, and my lecturing experiences tell me how to set up a lecture too, right? So I was like, all right, I'll tell them a little bit about what podcasting is, get them engaged on what local podcasts or foreign podcasts they listen to, tell them about my journey and experience doing it, tell them how I come up with content, then the technical side, like what software. I have a little presentation done. It's not like if I'm showing up unprepared, no, I'm fully prepared and know what I'm going to talk about. But it's been nervous, can't breathe, heart jumping out my chest kind of thing. For every time I do it, with the first 5-10 minutes, like I can't get the words out. But I'll tell you, like, it turned out to be one, and salute to Nigel, right? Nigel Nicholson from 94.7 months. I wonder if they short paying Nigel too, or Nigel getting a pay cut for BIR purposes. But I wonder if I will get paid. Nigel, do I want to pay cut and with BIR too? But when I do get it done and I get to meet these folks, it's one of the more rewarding classes that I do, because I think I underestimate sometimes how much I would have learned along the way to get to 180 something of anything. To do something 100 and something times is a lot. And the amount that I would have learned and is always encouraging to meet other people who say, I want to start a podcast, and there people, especially in the class on Sunday, had genuine questions like about how I come up with content, how I do the thing, how I edit, how long I take to edit, like. And I keep wondering, like, Nigel, I had to bring me screaming and kicking into this. I was like, Nigel, I don't think I have any value to offer. What can I possibly offer anybody when it comes to podcasting? I trying to figure this thing out myself. I mean, anybody who listening to this, all you who listen to this for some time, right? All you don't know, as a man is called blurry episode. Sometimes the screen blank. Sometimes I tell them 2 weeks ago I put out a screen. The video must start about 50 something minutes into the recording. I don't consider myself good at this. I also don't consider myself at like where I need to be, because I'm not monetizing this thing, not making money for me at this point in time. So it feels like kind of like you're fraud talking when you're trying to explain to people what's a podcast. And it's Chester, I had to talk to Chester and them about this thing where they introducing me as the greatest podcaster in Trinidad and Tobago. Them selling their product, them selling their product. And them trying to make sure that the students happy, because gratefully, I find it to be a positive thing that a lot of these students are interested in podcasts. Some of them so young, and I was like, why don't you just start a YouTube channel and talk about anything? Like when you're I've done it maybe about 3 or 4 times now, and you have people who are interested in doing like a makeup artist page, or some very interesting. Like, I met one guy on Sunday who want to do one about sales. Another person wants to do. She said she is the word life coach come into mind, right? But I know I have that wrong. But what she says, she helps you to get past your limiting beliefs. Somehow that statement stay with me a lot, because even me showing up there to say I go and lecture on something that I don't feel like good at, when you think about it, it's a limiting belief. I talk about a young girl, so I don't just want to bring her on and have her talk about some of that. I'm eager to have her to do that. But I also want to maybe book a session with her to talk about, like, why do we have some of these limiting beliefs? There's no evidence to show that I can't deliver a lecture. There's no evidence to show that people might not be interested in somebody who's done something for a long time. There's also no evidence to show that you had to make a whole lot of money off something, or somebody to be successful on commercial terms for people to want to know about it, or understand what you did, or understand how you get there. There's no evidence for any of that. But boy, I carrying that burden real heavy. So maybe I need to meet with her about these limiting beliefs and my limiting language. But my most enjoyable part of the class, all you know, as I say, I'm very culture biased. And one student, because what I do, right, is when I real nervous and I can't breathe, I just make other people introduce themselves so I could gather my little frills and get myself together so I could at least land the plane, right? And one girl started to introduce herself. Her name is Kitura, salute to Kitura. And she was talking about her background, and she doing her masters, and she in UCT. Impressive. Everything she say, even you know what's enjoyable in that class? So when people introduce themselves, because it's a media course, people introduce themselves and they're already eloquent. They know how to talk, they know how to project, and so on. I saw, coincidentally, there was a girl in that class by the name of Candice Chanel Barnes. And I'll tell you, she was one of the people who, when I was looking for a co-host, I wanted to do it. I wanted to work with Candace, and it's something that I will do at some point in time. Introduce her co-host, maybe different format, whatever it is. She on is it radio station 93.5? You know, if my memory was good, that would be good. But I saw her there. She doing the TV course now, so I wish her all the best and all the luck and all that. And I used to work with her overnight on Iowa Station, and it was one of it's seamless. Candace and I is putting a good show. But when I reached the Kitsurano and she introduced herself and told her masters and everything so impressive, and in the end of the thing, she kind of whispered, well, the mystic prowler is my father. And then I got into groupie mode immediately. It's immediate groupie mode because what he has contributed to Calypso as a Calypso monarch himself, but what he's contributed to Calypso as a defender of the art form and somebody who created and founded a space to showcase the art form is already inspiring to me and something that I enjoy hearing any stories that I have. But what I will tell you is that we had a great conversation. She also, we aligned that she say our meeting is divine, and she's helping to push me in a direction that I don't know I was supposed to go in a long time ago. So I appreciating that class more and more. And I will try my best to get over this thing where I am constantly feeling like I have nothing to lend or nothing to offer in spaces that I already enjoy it. I enjoy podcasting as a listener. I enjoy podcasting as somebody who delivering podcasts and so on. So I'll try to just settle myself, take deep breaths, and whatever you're supposed to do, well, the psychiatrists say you have an anxiety attack, I'll try to hold it together and get it done. And I enjoy the landscape of Trinidad and Tobago, especially what I'm hearing from that class. And what you're seeing more and more, when you see Kivo and them fellas doing a podcast, Salute to the Monday Morning podcast, Die Good Talk, they do great. Dapper Talks, all this talk about them, they do great work. There's one called He Ho, I think is the name of it. Them fellas doing good work. So they have plenty podcasters out there who put in the work. Salute to Cassio, Devil Tyler, you know, a lot of people. Salute, of course, to my boys, and I hope they come back one day who do the Alternative Perspective podcast. Salute to Judah and Naldo. But, boy, listeners, with a heavy heart that I had to say, rest in peace to Estra and Denzel.
Somebody dear, give us cause to shed a tear and mourn, for they are gone. Now all that's left is a faint memory, based on the theme of a strange melody. Still, we must think of them and recall their image with pride, telling people from deep inside, this is dedicated to those who died. But in this, I'll always remember jumping when a steel band passed, laying mass, sugary, peppery, but was never ever one for class. But try in this wherever you are, compare just for you. I came out with real fire this year.
Listen to lyrics, right?
Each and every one I know, some good this song is just dedicated to memories. George Bailey, I'll always remember, jumping when them big band pass. Playing mass, sugary, peppery. George was never ever one for class. George Bailey, wherever you are, compare just for you. I came out with real fire this year.
It's a song you had to listen to every lyric and every verse, right?
How many have known a friend playing mass down to the end who will never again? And though we play now and then, thoughts will stray to that dear one who has long passed away. So for this carnival, while you're jumping up, take a break. Try and take in this song I made to remember for old time's sake. Jack Raffet, I'll always remember, jumping when them big band pass. Playing mass, sugary, peppery. Jack was never ever one for class. Jack Raffet, wherever you are, compare just for you. I came out with real fire this year.
Listen keenly, right? Listen keenly.
Simple words cannot define the memories that fills the mind of those who are left behind. To some of us, it's a kin or a friend, or a great love that was shared to the end. So it is our duty, I mean each and every one, see that their memories live on, even though they are dead and gone. Albert Moore, I'll always remember, jumping when a steel band pass. Playing big mass, sugary, peppery. I was never ever one for class. Dear Albert, wherever you are, compare just for you. I came out with real fire this year.
So I wish condolences to her family, to everybody, all her loved ones, and Esther make an indelible mark on this space in podcasting as well as in her content creation on social media and so on. Just being who she is, being in her faith, being in her fitness, and life short. You just never know. You just never know. They say life is short and sometimes brutish. We must remember that and live our lives to the fullest. Live our lives to the fullest. That is all I have to say about that. We're going back to these gunmen and storming the hospital. So, as bad as the news would have gotten over the weekend, and funny that Gonzalez is the one that we spoke about the most in terms of that Christmas list video. It was certainly the most glaring to me. And I want to tell you that while we're recording here, seeing the Express publishing that he was released on 100,000 bail, and he headed to sleep with Christian Williams. He headed there. But this story worrying. If you don't know this story, it was the usual in Trinidad, in our area deemed a hotspot or pretty much anywhere in the country. People go on to gun down somebody, right? So let me read, right? This from Chester Sombrano, coincidentally from the Guardian. Uh, after opening fire, a group of men in Gonzalez. After opening fire on a group of men in Gonzalez last night, gunmen rushed into the Port of Spain General Hospital, where one of the victims was being taken for treatment, and continued shooting to ensure that he did not survive. Let me read that again, right? After opening fire on a group of men in Gonzalez last night, gunmen rushed to the Port of Spain General Hospital, where one of the victims was being taken for treatment, and continued shooting to ensure that he didn't survive. The brazen attack resulted in 8 people being shot, 4 of whom died. The incident began just before 8 p.m. on Sunday. 8 p.m. on Sunday is drive by the Savannah, the little food court time, lime on the avenue, carry your family, eat a little ice cream, see what kind of, by the Savannah food court is all kind of sushi and doubles and all kind of nice things selling on them. That is the time we're talking about, right? 8 p.m. on a Sunday, winding down on a long weekend to start back school and work tomorrow and stuff. Back to the drudgery of Monday mornings. 8 p.m. This is when we're talking about, right? This is not, but there's no special time here again, you know? They confronted the group of men and several shots fired. 3 men, according to police reports, died at the scene. 2 of them have been identified as Jonathan Arjun and Jaden Reyes. Police say a 4th victim, Kevin King, was taken to hospital by relatives. However, as they attempted to take him into the accident and emergency department, the gunmen who had followed them opened fire on King again. He also succumbed to his injuries. Senior Superintendent of Homicide Bureau Investigations Rishi Singh told the media early Monday morning that a financial reward will be offered for information relating to the deadly shooting. Again, it's been a while since I see a crime story. I try to stay away from it. All you know is, I mean, it's bothered me too much to come here and talk about. I can't afford for this to pull down the rest of my week. But what was bothering me about this more than the fact that it happened is sometimes the responses to these things by the powers that be. If it's not earlier talking about prayers and getting the thing right and all them thing, and you know what I mean, turning over your life to God, which is all good. Or the Minister of Health, Terence D'Alsing, who I suppose had to be on spot and was asked to respond because it happened at the hospital, and that is under his remit, right? And it was interesting the wording that Terence D'Alsing used, right? Terence D'Alsing was explaining to the media what happened, and the way he worded it was, 3 people were shot in Gonzalez. 2 of them died, unfortunately, and then they came to the hospital and they killed the last person. I find the use and the placement of the word unfortunate itself was unfortunate to me, right? Because we as lay people looking at this, right? You always wonder about these situations where people running into an area specifically looking for people to shoot, especially coming off our Christmas showy and what we would have known already. I must be the naive one didn't know this before. That the killings in this country very, very specific. They know who they went for to kill. And my assumption, and it's not a good one, and it ain't go hold up in court, and let me do sedition all the place. Not allegedly. It is my allegation, alleged, whatever I need to say to avoid sedition laws. That it is highly unlikely that people will be coming and look for you to kill you in 8 o'clock on a Sunday night if you're not involved in anything. Now, the minister had to be a little more guarded and measured in what he say than me, right? Because he don't know that the people who were killed were not innocent. But I feel like, given the climate in Trinidad and Tobago now, using that word unfortunately, it misplaced. If you're trying to tell the media what happened, just say, hey, this is what happened. Because I think the unfortunate part of this situation is that law-abiding people who I would have seen in Gonzalez, even on Christmas video, and people who I know in Gonzalez, and you know, Belmont is not a strange place to me, had to be dealing with gunshots 8 o'clock in the night. I'll give you an example. I talked to my wife a little while ago. She's teaching in a school in Belmont and telling me today, while I recording this, or earlier today, that shot fire in Belmont and she and her students had to hit the deck. Now, I'll tell you something, right? People, I meet a young thing and married, you know what I mean? I as a man married, I to be a young wife. But these days, when she go down, it's hard to come back up, and it takes some time to get. They don't happen as good as it used to happen back in the day. You know what I mean? So I know what she went through to have to hit deck and come back up. That ain't gonna be easy. But think about it. If we live in a society where primary school children know what is gunshot, know what to do to hit the deck and all them kind of things, because not because they're trained and we giving them the tools to be able to deal with hostile situations, it's because it's been the norm for them. It's a norm in the communities they come from. And the conversation she telling me that comes around the incidents like those is that, nah, miss, that song like warning shots. Nah, miss, that song like, nah, boy gone home. This real life conversation I telling you about that happened in the very Belmont, the very community that if you ask me my opinion, right, which nobody's ever asked me, that people like Christmas List and all the other people who come in here exploiting for their own personal financial gains. And we had to deal with this every day. When he gone away, when he skipped bail and gone which part he has to go. There's something we deal with every day. There's a school, and she teaching in our primary school. This training 11 years and under. This is their reality. Not just in the school they go into on a daily basis, but the community that they live in. This is where they're growing up. What hope they're growing up with. If on your way to school, you see a man with long guns walking and patrolling and say, all right, boy, study your work, boy, study your work. What kind of society we have? So when Terrence D. Singh as a minister, Minister of Health nonetheless, use the word unfortunate to describe the people who died on the scene, but left out any descriptive word to say the nature of the fact that I had to live in an area where people just busting shot, and that is normalized. That's just what it is. People shot and hooting, and then it's balling. Or we see many of these things before. Or not using the word unfortunate to describe that. A doctor could be going to work, a first responder, ambulance driver, the family of this man who carrying him in, man who's selling nuts in the hospital compound, people who just driving past the hospital to go down the road because they leave the Savannah food court and they're heading back down the road to get a taxi. They're just walking down Charlotte Street. That's not unfortunate that this is the reality that we have to live in as the people who govern in the country, people who are responsible for legislation, right? The people who put legislation in place that we could arrest and take hoodlums like Christmas off the street, right? The placement of words I find to be unfortunate. That the focus of a health minister then had to be saying, hey, we can't live in a society where people coming in the hospital. A man who in the hospital with a heart problem, hearing gunshot downstairs. That I wonder how we treating with these things. And that's what I mean. The placement of the word unfortunate and the lightness of the word. We're not talking about no fortune here. The situation dire. It have nothing to do with fortune whatsoever. We're in a terrible situation. But there's some people who, no matter what turns the else, it has some people is never to be left undone. Them is to top everything. Hines laments gang killings. National Security Minister Fitzgerald Hines, who visited the crime scenes last night, expressed frustration over the problem of gangs in Trinidad and Tobago. Another word that I find. What are you talking about? Frustration is what you're talking about. He went on to say, Minister Hines said he was disturbed. Boy, let me tell you something. If the people in charge, this situation is one of the worst possible situations I could think about. Like if I had to come up with scenarios, again, I want to go back to Netflix. And if I had to write a script for Netflix, a bad script, if I had to give me an episode on Netflix, and Narcos to write in Netflix, right? I would write an episode where they intercept the gang, they shoot out and thing, and then one of the main men get away and the family pull him and they carry him down in the hospital. And the boys and them run past and we spray up the whole hospital and we finish. That's what I would write if I had a script to write in Netflix. It don't get no worse than this. Again, a man working at double in the hospital because the hospital done underserved, you know what I mean? They don't have enough people. They don't have enough professionals at home. Doctor, nurse, first responders, all of them under pressure. And what you're dealing with when you go out there to meet people as accidents and emergencies, quick movement, man getting oxygen, who getting thing, who stopping wound, and man coming to walk up to people and shoot them and kill them. And Minister Hines said he was disturbed by this. I wonder if I alone feeling like this. I wonder if I'm alone here. If is this like this, you are merely disturbed by this. It's very disturbing to me. But let me go on. Mr. Hines said he was disturbed by this shooting incident and quoted statistics that showed that 65% of the murders of the country are gang-related. He said this was a reality even with the presence of anti-gang legislation. Minister Hines called on members of the communities where these gangs are prevalent to speak up and provide information to the police. I want to salute Fitzgerald Hines. A special guy. He's hard to beat. A special guy. But sorry, I don't like to talk about crime. Is bring me down, and my goal is never to bring nobody down here. I just worry when I see responses like these. I find responses like these. It tells me something about the way we treating with the crime situation, because the people who are responsible for governance, the people who are in charge of these situations and these institutions, it's just unfortunate and they're disturbed. So this is why we're not seeing a drastic reaction or a drastic measures to deal with these kind of things. And this is why we dependent on foreigners to come in here and they use their cameras and things, and then we could get evidence. It shows you the urgency to deal with this not there, because I mean, it's just disturbed. You know, they have a neighbor here, my neighbor. As one of the best neighbors I have, is one of the best neighborhoods I ever live in. But our neighbor who dog is bark in the night, you know what I mean? Every now and again he's like, "Arr, arr, arr." Yeah, you know, I'd be real disturbed by that. That's be very disturbing. I hope you get my point, right? Now, I want to stick on this thing with YouTubers for a while. The Express also covered an article. I salute the Express, and they're not saying who wrote the article, but they broadened the discussion a little bit from Christmas, which I appreciated. And the headline said, TNT's deadliest hoods are on show. YouTubers make it big with millions of clicks. Canadian Christopher Christmas is not the only popular YouTuber who has ventured into Trinidad's ghetto-looking communities, putting their camera to the people, unmasking gang members who willingly spill their inner workings of their organization like 6 and 7 and more. Over the past months, communities such as Laventille have been a proliferation of visiting social media content creators, lending an audience of millions to the people who reside in these places. Be careful, they could shoot us at any moment. Inside Trinidad's most dangerous hood, deep into the Caribbean's deadliest hood, are only 3 of the titles published on international video sharing platforms, racking up millions of views and overtly showing guns or gun-related content and descriptions of what may be considered gang-related activity. The videos have presented a graphic side of a country that even its citizens are likely unaware of or would rather avoid at all costs. That pretty much describes me. Yeah? The video posters are often Caucasian men who seem to reveal the hospitality and revel in the hospitality and kindness, despite an overwhelmingly negative perception of crime-riddled communities. Though a few foreign women of color have also participated in this content trend. I want to tell you that one of the main things you will hear every single one of these content creators come and say, the white boys especially, is that, hey, the people tell me how bad here is, you know, it's a safe place, you know, I mean, I feel safe, it's a beautiful community, the people are beautiful, the people are very welcoming, you'll see them go in people's house and eat and them kind of things, and it's be like, with the colonizers, right? It just feels like that don't feel much different than all our oil being owned by British Petroleum and British Gas and BHP and all foreign. You know, every resource that we have, good or bad or indifferent, seems to not be owned by us, but be owned by people who owned us. And the subjects of these videos are almost always the country's disenfranchised young men, those outwardly seeking community through their controversial affiliations, and who claim to be trying to make a better life for themselves on behalf of their loved ones. That's what you hear a lot. You also hear the government and doing nothing for we and all these types of things. The video entitled Deep into the Caribbean Deadliest Hood by Greek YouTuber Timmy Carter has since amassed 2.1 million views in total. In the US, the video displays a number of ads throughout its duration and offers the option of thanking Carter with the US $2 donation, a feature that, according to YouTube, is only available to channels accepted in its YouTube partnership program, which you have to get past a certain amount of views to be able to get to that YouTube partnership or even to monetize, right? To monetize, you need, I think, 10,000 subscribers. Hint, hint. You know what I mean? Only help more. But to monetize, you need 10,000 subscribers. And to get to the partnership program, you got to be doing well. You got to be doing numbers, right? Uh, its thumbnail. Well, the thumbnail is also an important part, and I just want to make sure people are born people's algorithm. So, but the algorithm is just a if this then that mathematical formula that decides on what comes up when you open YouTube. So everybody who open YouTube, there's a equation that tries to determine what types of videos you will like. That's why no matter what you click, they will have suggested videos below. The game as a YouTuber or the strategy is to try to figure out for your target audience, the people who you want to listen to you, how do you get into their suggested videos so that even if they went and look up some song they wanted to play, next I could show you Warzone in Trinidad and Tobago as a suggestion, because I know you also like those types of videos. But to do that well, you had to name the video well, you had to have a good description, and you had to have a good thumbnail, because the thumbnail now is what you will see, and when you see that in the corner of your eye, you say, hey, that look like something I would want to click. So they say the thumbnail here is an artistic depiction of young men with obscured faces holding guns pointing at each other while a monkey sits on a sign which reads War Zone. So they use that as a thumbnail. I guess that would be attractive to the people who they want to watch the video. It features a maskless young man who refers to himself as El Chapo and proudly explains that there was a musical influence on the community he was a part of while expressing deep distrust in the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. We are trying to live our lives, we're trying to make money and see about our families, he told Carter while showing a firearm blade in the video. We have a little opposition with the other people in other communities. In Trinidad, the police don't deal with the problem, they only deal with what they think they can deal with. And when they can't solve the problem, they come and kill you. When you have nothing and you aren't doing anything, they are fed up with you, they come and kill you. They kill you for nothing and they write down in a report and all that is fine and it's cool and we have no set of opportunities. You hear in Christmas videos, you hear all that. No opportunities, the government is doing nothing for we, them boys. You can't get a solid answer on what they want out of life, what they're fighting for. The rebels without a cause, you're not hearing like what's the cause, what they're fighting for exactly. Fighting for freedom from some oppressive regime. Nobody don't know. It seems as though they're just fighting for some community leader who no longer here, and territory and turf for you take a guess as to what they want in territory and turf for, right? He said, my dream in life, I want to be real with you, is to be a billionaire. And I want to help people who cannot help themselves. I see my family go through a whole set of things when I was young, and I want to make sure that they're good now. One uploaded by Israeli YouTuber Coco Boy shows him moving through the Laventil community and speaking to residents. Standing near a bullet-riddled wall, he speaks to a man who tells him shootings are a regular occurrence in the community. Even as I am standing here, there could be a shooting. He comments in the YouTube video, which appears to be removed from YouTube. So you get the trend, right? There's a lot of that. It is a popular trend, and people come here and they do it, and they do well. So while I lamenting about the fetishizing of foreigners, the foreigners, they come in and fetishize us as well, because they go and sleep comfortable or go back in their Gucci robes and so on. And how much of their proceeds that they would get from the videos they donate to communities like Gonzalez, I don't know. I don't know if it helps or if it's necessary or if promises like those are made. How much they do for people while they're in the communities is questionable. So while a lot of people defending Christmas, they showed some videos in Somalia where he was basically throwing out money at people in a very, very insulting way. And was arrested for that in Somalia as well, because they say while zakat is a part of what they participate in other words, giving tithes or helping others, the idea of throwing money at people is deeply insulting, and he does, it doesn't. I don't want to talk not the money, but it's normal for you to go to the next society and not understand somebody's culture. But if you're claiming to go deep into the society, as you're going to places that Trinidadians will go, or Somalians will go in that case, I would think that you're spending a little more time to understand the culture and the people that you're dealing with. And while I was looking at this trend, because it's definitely a trend, and it's not just here, you see it a lot in Jamaica as well, going into, you know what I mean? But one of the things that's also a trend here, right, is that the food people starting to come here more and more and more, the international food critics, right? I've seen many a food critic come here, and from Anthony Bourdain, who would have been the one who started the 1% talk. Salute him for that. There's a couple who came recently who they uh they, he make a song about roti. It seems as though he's real he's a little producer and thing to the guys, a husband and wife couple. And they come and make a song and they say about he love roti and he love roti every day. See them eating doubles. That is something that becoming more and more common. What's my boy name? Andrew Zimmern, who came here and eat bacon shack and says the single best sandwich he ever had. I believe Mark Weiss, who would have come, Weens, I believe was his name, who would have came with, was it Zach, the foodie with Zach, foodie tales with Zach. Would have had Mark Weens and carry him around. I remember, I wonder if you remember this way. It had a man when an international vlogger was here as well, and they went bartire by a soup man. And the soup man was tasting his soup with his fingers. So he make sure to tell you, look, different finger, right? But nothing about it ain't good. I think that was Andrew Zimmern as well. It was Andrew as a Mark Zimmern, who does that. And is Ling and Lamb was the ones I was trying to remember, who came and they say it's a roti pate. And you know the popularity of Trinidad in terms of the food and delicacies. You also see people, several TikTokers trying roti, trying doubles for the first time, trying Moruga pepper sauce or Moruga scorpion pepper, is this, or Moruga hot pepper, whichever one it is, or Bertie's pepper sauce. You see a lot of it. So, in as much as we are fertile ground for videos like Warzone and bullet holes in the wall, it seems as though we are also fertile ground for the good things that we do. Right? All the doubles and things starting to get catch up in mailing and things, people missing from double card and double card getting shoots up on a regular now. But what I'm getting at, right, is when the food bloggers come, the words journalists and so on thrown around the place all the time, or bloggers or vloggers or YouTubers or TikTokers or whatever. I've seen the Ministry of Tourism making a great effort, almost to, if not to bring them here, to interact with them while they're here. And I think that's something that we should applaud, right? Because it makes sense that if the food is part of what we want to promote as part of why people come to Trinidad and what we have to offer the world. So salute to Randall Mitchell, Minister of Tourism. There seems to be a deliberate attempt by the Ministry of Tourism, if not to bring more bloggers here to come and talk about food, to engage them while they're here. So you see them coming, and then you see these same YouTubers sometimes tagging the Ministry of Tourism in Trinidad or Ministry of Culture in some cases, in some of their posts, which means that they might be paid posts, or, you know, the whole influencer thing. You know, you use influencers to try to help sell your products or your services or your wares or get people to know about your country. And I think the ministry, I think it's a great initiative. Like, we need to do more and more of that, because traditional marketing, like the newspaper and the TV ads and the billboards and the signs in the airports and the magazines and the you know, when you come in Caribbean Beat magazine and those things, nothing wrong with them things. Them things good, right? But in today's world, digital marketing is where the action is, and a big part of digital marketing is could be getting a message out through influencers like these, who already have a strong audience that want to listen to them. They're good at content creation and engagement, so they know how to get people excited about the things they post. They make it nice and, you know, it's good looking. Like Ling and Lamb, for instance, have 1.2 million followers. If we use people like them, and when I say use, I mean engage them, right? Pay them, get them get them to be part of what or how we sell our culture. It makes sense, and they have so much different aspects of the culture. I come in here and talk about Calypso every week. One of the important questions they asked me in class last week is the disconnect between Calypso and youths. And somebody was pointing out that a big part of the problem in Calypso now is that idea that you expect youths to come a Calypso tent and sit down there for 3-4 hours and a night. That's just not the way entertainment works in today's world. Youths used to be entertained by the minute. They don't have time to go and sit down. So if we really want this to go towards youth, I think, and they have some great Calypsonians now who singing songs that I think anybody of any age could be interested in. But how we package it and how we market it, you can't have the same people who singing Calypso marketing Calypsos. Marketing is not your expertise. Get people like these who could engage you, influencers like this who already have a voice, who already have a following and a level of engagement. So in other words, when these people say roti good and they come and they sing roti party, that more likely to make people try a roti than any billboard you could put up anywhere that shows anything. And I want you to observe something when you check out these videos that they do, right? You'll notice that when they go on to try bacon shark or wherever they go to try the different things that they want to try in their travels across the country, beyond just promoting the bacon shack, what you will notice is in the background, you will see a solo or a Just Juice or a Bear Fruit, and there's or even a Digicel or whoever it might be, because it camera will pick up all the different things. So there's we call externalities, right? So you get additional benefit more than just what you're paying for. And we could engage those things. You could engage people like these around the Calypso or the Carnival and make sure that we continue to build on what we have and make sure that the reputation is right. Because we cannot sit and idly watch people wanting to come to Trinidad and Tobago to come and show what is the worst that we have to offer and put up things that sensationalizing crime here or sedition in crime here and present. You must control the narrative about your brand. If Trinidad and Tobago is a brand, we have to be working all the time to see what are the things we should be presenting to the world. How should we be looking in the global space? What do we want to be seen as? And if we figure out, which is called brand positioning, right? Coincidentally, brand positioning is why I want to be seen as compared to what I want people to, what they think of me versus what they think of my competitors. Once we identify that, we must be monitoring every single story that posted out of Trinidad and Tobago. So for every Christmas, it must have 10 Ling and Lamb coming here, 10 Mark Weens, 10 Anthony Bourdain, Lord bless his soul, or whoever it might be, to shape the narrative that you really want to shape. There are so many influencers, not just around food, but have influencers who go around to find out the culture of the world. It's influencers who go around finding the fauna and flora in the world. We could engage these people to paint a narrative about Trinidad that silences the voices of people like Christmas who want to come and pappy showy. I want to add to that. There's a finite amount of crime-seeking vloggers, right? Just like they have a finite amount of food people who travel the world and talk about food. Let me say it's about 100 people in the world who like to come and go crime hotspots and this and that. You could also engage them, and them fellas on dollars, them fellas on views and they're on dollars. I could tell you now, Christmas list, views and dollars gonna go up because of this situation. He get arrested in Trinidad. He could talk about that and he gonna be fine, you know what I mean? He gonna be good. He gonna get the boost that he was probably always looking for. So and I would hazard, I guess, that most of them goal is to increase their level of engagement, increase their level of earnings and that kind of thing, build their channel and thing. We could engage them up front. We don't have to sit here and let this happen to us. It's gonna happen either way. Whether it's through the Ministry of Tourism, the Ministry of National Security, we could reach out to vloggers and say, well, here what? We understand, we see it covering crime, it's in Palestine. We want you to come here and cover the situation in Trinidad and Tobago. We want to invite you, you know what I mean? No pressure. We letting you know that, listen, we're not going to arrest you. We're not going to do anything. We want the world to know some of these struggles that we have in Trinidad and Tobago. However you package it and you sell it, you know, and you bring these people in and they do that. And that could be your way into again. If it is information is a problem or whatsoever it is, or sensitivity or awareness to the situation or global awareness to the fact that we having a national breakdown, or we having a breakdown in society or failure of state, but apparently we just disturbed and we unfortunate. If you want to bring people here to tell them, listen, we disturbed and unfortunate and we want to show the world what it is. And use this as your marketing to get international help from people like the UN or the US government or whoever we need to get who have crime situations like we have that are similar to what we do in Trinidad and Tobago. It's like, you wonder sometimes, and this is my gripe, right? Sorry for the whole long episode of gripes, but this is my gripe with the people who are in charge and the people who are the head of these ministries, minister and them kind of thing. It's like, we're so comfortable, we're so complacent, we're just disturbed, and it's just unfortunate that nobody going further to think out of the box and say, well, all right, hey, here what? This is a major issue. this is working against us. We're gonna arrest this man. I don't know how much information we get after he get arrested. I would think that if you get access to all his tapes and things, that's something in there that would have caused some major arrests. Of course, La Horquetta, Belmont, all the areas he was. I ain't hear about that yet, and now he released, so I ain't sure what they get. But if you realize this happened to us and there's not much we could do about it, why not use it to your advantage? Control the narrative, as the Yankees say, you know what I mean? Rather than keep ourselves in a situation where things continue to happen to us. Related, but somewhat unrelated, right? I was one of the students in the class on Saturday as well was asking me about the idea of that disconnect with Calypso. It's just a little Shari, you know, from Star Broadcasting is a question that strike me. And she was saying that with youths not understanding Calypso, like the topics they're singing about, and where's that voice of the people, the mouthpiece? You know, we talk about by Calypsos or stories are told. So that's a Kaiso Kern, right? Kaiso Kern is another podcast you should listen to. Kaiso Kern has come up with a podcast. I believe he's released it every Tuesday, like myself, and Monday nights he's released it, and he's doing it live on Instagram too. So you should follow him and check it out, because that fella know a lot of Kaiso too. Nice Kaiso, and he line up his songs properly. He's much more organized than I am. You know what I mean? So it's a Kaiso Kern. But when you look at what Kaiso used to do to tell our stories, we living in a world now where it takes too long. When so this thing happened in Gonzalez, and a man gets shot in the hospital. The great writers we have, the Kurt Allens, the Karen Ashes, the Bruce Hammonds, the you know, too many to count. The Marshall Montanos, Calypso Monarch of the world could write a song about that, make a double entendre, or somebody like Crocro or Gypsy, or them first and them could write a song, a stinging social commentary, and think the problem now is it take too long. The bloggers and the vloggers and these influencers have a camera on them at all times where they could react to things instantaneously. I see media in Trinidad change drastically, where I live in a world where I used to have to wait till tomorrow morning to find out what happened today. Even those very same reporters, like the Chester Zambranos of this world, they had to put out stories now. They can't wait till tomorrow papers. Or if a big story come out, you just have a thing called evening news. They might do a special run of the papers and print out evening news for people. Those days done. The reaction time and the time people find out information is at the time the thing happen. And these things go viral fast, and it's beyond anybody. But so by the time a Calypsonian writes about something, put it in a song, carry it by Pelham arrange it, define a thing, and they win the Calypso Monarch like what they used to do long time. Because a lot of these situations men was singing about and winning Calypso Monarch long time was real situations that happen. But no, if you wait 2 days to talk, sometimes I talking about something and it happened last. You know what I had to do? When something big happened, just after I record, before I come and talk about that thing, I try my best to listen to everything everybody say and read every article, just so that by the time I come in with something new or refreshing or a different angle or something funny. And I think it's a new challenge that Calypsonians themselves or people in the art form or the culture have to accept, where I opened last week with Rio, right? They had a big competition for the most traveled Calypsonian. And people were surprised to see the finalists was Sparrow and me. He said Sparrow he went back to Spain, he went to Ethiopia, and he went back again. He went to Cincinnati and he went to Ohio, but I was the favorite. People shout out. He's with San Fernando Palo Seco. Clever, you're creative. So in other words, no matter how long a situation can happen, although real one fictitious, but it's like that genre of Calypso, the humorous Calypso, the spoilers of the world, the Rio, the funny, the mystic prowlers, you know, there are some people who was clever and creative in the way they could write. Even I was talking this week too in the class about all rounder, you know what I mean? The way them fellas and them put together songs so crafty that it wouldn't matter how much time pass, they put it together in a way that people will still be willing to listen to it or to hear what is the angle. In other words, I might hear something, but I want to hear what Joe Budden coming with on this, because I know he going to do it in a way that's different to what everybody do, or have a unique perspective at least once he come out. And I feel like it's a challenge that Calypsonians ought to accept. And the humorous Calypso is one where you could accept those kind of things, because if it doesn't matter how long ago something happened, if you're funny enough on the topic, people will listen to you. Like, for instance, I saw Donnell Rawlings recently open a special with the Alabama Brawl. That thing was so old, but he's so clever, and he come different with it, and it worked. Brian Simpson, one of my favorite comedians right now, have a way of coming with something different, something unique. Well, of course, Dave Chappelle, you know. The stories they come in with, by the time they do a special, they work their material for a year. They're talking about things that are a year old, but they have a cleverness and a different way of bringing it across. And I want to play one of them songs, right? Because she had mentioned All Rounder when we were talking. Again, Katura salute to her. She gave me some energy to get back behind these ideas. But she had mentioned All Rounder. And All Rounder is a special Calypsonian to me because of the angle he used to come with. And this is what is one of my favorite All Rounder. You know it? No, I want you to go and Google Jimmy Swaggart for me, right? Go and Google Jimmy Swaggart, and you understand what I mean when I say the humorous Calypso is timeless. But more things to talk about. And who I should address next? Big back people? Big backs. Asiba Small from Daily Express said, gastric balloon is here. Is it for you? We talk about Ozempic for the big backs. Now we're covering the little gastric bypass. So you can do gastric bypass surgery or gastric balloon, right, in Trinidad. So you probably came across a social media advertisement for the intragastric balloon. If not, it is a weight loss option that is now available in TNT. If you're eating right and exercising and still not seeing weight loss, you're talking to me. Me eating right, me exercising and I'm not seeing weight loss. Oh, you say if you're eating right, exercising and still not seeing weight loss, then you're the right candidate for the intragastric balloon. The procedure, which reportedly helped Khloe Kardashian shed pongs, I like it already. It's unlike any other weight loss procedure since it's non-invasive with minimal healing time. Her magazine contacted bariatric, laparoscopic. I can't read no more of this. Get your back on big. Go and check Go and check Dr. Amrit Rambajan with the gastric balloon. Attempted to do a little gastric balloon, and my bellies don't look like I have a gastric balloon already. But you see the way my eyesight set up, right? If I had to do any surgery, I had to go and fix my eyesight. I really can't see. I can't see very well. It's getting worse and worse. Talking about Cassie and Cassie, they were rushed and Parry and them making a surge for the UNC internal election. I'm looking for predictions here because I'm following this story, and at first I thought Russian and Parry wasn't saying much, but more and more it seems as though that what you want to call it, anti-Kamala slate is picking up some steam. I was coming home this evening and I passed by Signature Hall, I think it is in Chaguanas, and I believe it was the Patriots, I believe is what Russian Parry team is, and they had a little rally there. And they seem to be drumming up some support, you know. This is from Dalisa Guralal and Loop, right? UNC internal elections 2024. Patriots reveal policy agenda. United Patriots, led by Mayaro MP Rushton Parry, has pledged to modernize the the UNC constitution, set fixed dates for internal elections, and implement fixed terms for elected positions. As we talk in the legislature, is it possible to legislate something that says that if you are a political party, your constitution must be structured in a specific way? Is that useful or possible to do? Because I find like we don't know there are two big parties in Trinidad and Tobago, but we don't know what is to come. Or three. We have a bigger one in Tobago, right? Or few. But if we put it in a way where the parties have to structure themselves where they have fixed dates for internal elections that have to be done every 4 years. They could only have two. It will help us with governance as a whole, you know, because some of the nonsense that is happening in parties is just flow all the way from there into governance. Because we don't have much choice in terms of who to vote for. But the promises are part of its policy agenda, which the team unveiled on Sunday ahead of the UNC's June 15th internal elections. The Patriots include sitting MPs Dr. Rai Ragbir, Anita Haynes Allen from Tabakeet, or representing Tabakeet, UNC Councillor Jason Ali, Superior West Faizabad, Henry Awang, Vice Chairman of the Kuba Tabakeet Talparo Regional Corporation, with the slate rounded out by several party stalwarts, which mean insignificance, right? The parallel slate said it intends to transform the UNC into a well-organized party capable of leading Trinidad and Tobago to a prosperous future. The Patriots said it envisions a reformed United National Congress that inspires youth involvement, fosters organizational excellence, and regains confidence of the electorate. The slate pledged to implement the UNC's constitution in full, including activating the 11 units and organs of the party. While this is happening, Michaela Pandey is mounting up a political challenge, right? Michaela Pandey's rejuvenation of the patriotic front ahead of the general election constitutional due next year. So it's intriguing to say the least. The well-known daughter of UNC founder Basdeo Pandey, who has been riding a wave of renewed popularity since Mr. Pandey's passing. She make a little video beating Tassa, and I think she get popular. It look good, she could play Tassa well. We like them kind of thing, right? She has announced her intention to field a full slate of 41 candidates whenever the election bell rings. I wonder sometimes about new political parties. It's like new businesses, you know. Sometimes it's tell you, oh, bite off more than you could chew. Decide on a niche that you could fulfill their niche, and then you could start to grow from there. I wonder if it's a good strategy for political parties, because they all seem to want to go with this 41 candidate strategy. I saying like Philip Alexander, Gary Griffith, they all go for the big election. Watson Duke had said he was going to do the same thing, and it doesn't really work well. I wonder if it would be better suited to put all the resources into 2 or 3 seats and use those seats to bargain your way into some semblance of power, or to parlay your way into bigger representation on a national level as elections go along. You know, every 5 years we go about 25 different set of elections, so it might make sense to do it that way, I think. But she's going for 41 seats, and there's rumblings, right, that if Parry win, Michaela willing to join up, and I would campaign on that, you know. If I had to beat Kamala, and them I had to beat Kamala and Munilal and the UNC stalwarts, the real stalwarts, not the ones they did fail to mention there. They will be hard to beat in an internal election, but I don't feel as if. Can I make election predictions? I don't feel like if Kamala Prasad-Bissessar is the leader of the UNC going into general elections, I'm not sure if she's shown anything with her recent track record over the last maybe 10 years in elections that she could win. And I think people genuinely fed up with the PNM. People want an alternative and to see somebody go. But I think people see like Rolly and Kamala as two sides of the coin. Is like it's not worth it to change one to put the next. I just talking generally like what I think the electorate would be feeling, right? Especially undecided voter. The undecided voter ain't leaving the house to vote for Kamala ahead of Rowley. I would think. I certainly do. I can't take either of them, and I don't see where either of them making any sense. I think it's stupid and unfortunate. But if you have Rushton Parry, who I kind of see as the old guard still a little bit maybe, but maybe a little more inspiring, but certainly Michaela Pandey. I think she have the you know what I mean, a little more young blood and there's some, if she talking about reform and modernizing and stuff, it's easier for me to believe her when she talk about those things, both from the party standpoint and the national standpoint. Easier for me to believe her than it is to believe Kamala and Rowley and Rushton Parry and these people. Them hard to listen to. Richard Hines and the old thing. Them a little hard to listen to. And a little, to be frank, without sedition in myself, it's a little uninspiring, to be honest. It would be nice to see some people who actually could inspire some hope and some promise and so on, you know? Let's see how that goes. We will continue to monitor that. We have about 2 weeks away from that election, so it will be interesting. I think that UNC election is something everybody should pay attention to because it will have a great impact on the national election, right? But talking about inspiration and hope and so on. This is World Cup cricket time, right? And it's clear that everybody who like World Cup cricket trades on hope and inspiration, especially people who like West Indies cricket, right? So to my father, so to people like Kern Hines and so on, and also some people who live and die by West Indies cricket. And it's a sad state. It's a sad state. But I think it's always encouraging, it's always bring some excitement when we have these types of events going on. Them things is bring their own level of hope and lift the spirits of the place a little bit, right? And we beat Papua New Guinea. We beat Papua New Guinea the other day, so people are happy. West Indies fans are on a high. They're feeling good about themselves and so on, you know what I mean? And we here. You can't knock them kind of things, right? Because I've seen World Cup tournaments before where we in qualifying rounds to get into the group stage and we get beat from all kind of little side like Mozambique and you know what I mean, the Democratic African Republic of Congo beat we and all kind of little side who don't play no form of cricket was Alaska and all these kind of countries who I never Papua New Guinea. Who them? But at least we win the game that was in front of us and we continue to go. I did see some complaints both about West Indies performance in terms of not handily beating them. But there's one from a site I saw called Cricket. They say it's disgraceful and sad. ICC fumed that over empty West. If I could read this, would be good. ICC fumed at over empty stands in West Indies. T20 World Cup opener versus Papua New Guinea at home. Lack of spectators and empty stands in Guyana for West Indies T20 World Cup opener left fans on social media fuming as they lashed out at the ICC. After the USA's impressive win against Canada in the 2024 T20 World Cup opener at the Grand Prairie Stadium in Dallas on Saturday, co-host West Indies kicked off the Caribbean leg of the tournament on Sunday as they hosted Papua New Guinea at the Providence Stadium in Guyana. Typically, Providence Stadium is a place where it's be full Guyanese cricket fans special, right? However, the lack of spectators and empty stands at the venue left fans on social media fuming as they lashed out at the ICC. Despite a decent turnout at the Nassau County International Cricket Stadium on Saturday, as New York hosted international cricket for the first time, albeit with India playing a warm-up game against Bangladesh. So anywhere India go, they will fill their stands, right? West Indies, the two-time champions of the 220 World Cup, were welcomed by a sparse crowd in Guyana. Amid the low turnout at the venue, the ICC was severely criticized with fans on social media highlighting that the increased ticket price could be the reason behind home crowds showing less interest. So I hope that this is something that is addressed. And the time of day, I was talking to my father earlier and he was telling me the time of day could be a factor as well because it would have started 10 o'clock in there. I know West Indies cricket is still very interesting to the Indian market, and they will always set the times where it could be prime time for India because they like seeing West Indies play. But you kind of want to have it in a way where, especially for something as prestigious as a World Cup, you want to have it in a way where the stands not looking completely empty like this, and it looking like people disinterested in the event, right? So I hope they could get all the issues sorted out. I do wish the West Indies the best of luck. I'm going to not say anything bad about the West Indies, right?
A lovely day for cricket. Blue skies and gentle breeze. The Indians are waiting now to play the West Indies. A signal from the umpire. The match is going to start. The cricketers come on the field. They all look very smart. Irapali Prasana, Gigi Boy and Wadeka, Krishna Murthy and Vishnu Mankad. Them boys could well play cricket on any kind of wicket. They make the West Indies team look so bad. We was in all kind of trouble. Joey Carew pull a muscle. Clive Lloyd get about 3 run out. We was in trouble without a doubt. It was Gavaskar, the real master. Just like a wall, we couldn't out Gavaskar at all. Not at all. You know the West Indies couldn't out Gavaskar at all. Venkataraghavan, Bedi in a turban, Vijay Jaishima, Jayanti Lal. They helped to win the series against the West Indies at Sabina Park and Queen's Park Oval. 158 by Ganai, really sent our hopes up high. Noriega 9 for 95, the Indian team they still survive. It was Gavaskar, the real master, just like a wall. We couldn't out Gavaskar at all, not at all. You know the West Indies couldn't out Gavaskar at all. Rajan Jurani, Solka Abidali, Dilip Sadesai and Vishwanath. They make West Indies bowlers look like second raters when those fellows came out here to bat. West Indies tried holder and keep boys. They had no other choice. They who tried with Newton Dow, but a shot and they're sorry they bring him now. It was Gavaskar, the real master. Just like a wall, we couldn't knock Gavaskar at all, not at all. You know the West Indies couldn't knock Gavaskar at all. I ain't calling nothing on the West Indies. The West Indies go win the T20 World Cup anyway. Hey, all you know there's an Olympic here. Why nobody ain't paying attention to the Olympics? We have people to send. More hope and inspiration, because I like to talk about West Indies fans, but I am a fan of the Soca Warriors, right? The great Soca Warriors. And on June the 5th, this week, I will be in the stadium to see Trinidad and Tobago open its 2026 World Cup campaign against Grenada. I want to remind everybody that the World Cup is expected to have more people qualifying for World Cup this time, which means CONCACAF will have more places. I want to also remind you that the World Cup will be hosted in CONCACAF this year, which will be USA, Mexico, and Canada, 3 countries which do not have to qualify for the World Cup this year. Which means, in short, Trinidad has the best possible chance, or the best chance they ever had, and probably the best chance they will ever have to qualify for a World Cup. I want to say as well that we have the great Angus Eve
at the helm, who is unbeatable and undefeatable, you know what I mean? Just like a wall, they cannot beat Angus at all. You know what I mean? I need to make these things clear. Because the football has been in a state since we first qualified for the World Cup and last qualified for the World Cup, same time, right? And we have a tendency, just like I said, the West Indies is go and get licks from all kind of little side. Like the other day, the West Indies lost to Argentina in the cricket. All kind of little country who never play no cricket at all. This beat West Indies in qualifying rounds. Trinidad and Tobago since 2006 developing a bad habit of bouncing up sides in early rounds in World Cup qualifying and cannot beat them. I don't say from now I see them play the other day in 2 friendlies against Guyana. We had some trouble when we bounce up Costa Rica and Jamaica, and them. The teams that we rather get past to qualify or join in qualification is Jamaica, who have all the things sorted out with all the foreigners. So all Raheem Sterling come in and play for Jamaica, and what's the next one name? Michael Antonio, and a whole bunch of them come. They done in Jamaican squad already. Gray, well, a whole bunch of them in that squad, and Costa Rica have a formidable team. Haiti getting stronger, Panama looking good, and beat we up last time, Guatemala. We really had to be making a strong statement here in opening, and I want to say the name. We playing Grenada. Now, this is the kind of thing where I used to go in the stadium just to enjoy a display of many goals, some spectacular, some jokey, because we're going and play against people who is postman in a day and accountant and clerk 1 and clerk 2, and you know what I mean, and his exchequer and these things, because there's no professional football league. Them men coming from work to play football, some of them still have on their shot on time and they're coming on the field. But of late, we have been, CTTFA post this the other day. Previous 5 meetings against Grenada. Trinidad and Tobago 2, Grenada 2. This was in 2017. Next match, 2017, Trinidad and Tobago 2, Grenada 2. In 2016, Trinidad and Tobago 2, Grenada 2. In 2010, Grenada 1, Trinidad and Tobago 0. This is the qualifying campaign just after the one we qualified for 2006. And in the Digicel Cup in 2008, Grenada 2, Trinidad 1. That is just after we qualified. So Grenada is not no pushover to we. Them used to be side we beat very bad, but we're not looking very good against these teams. But great is Angus Eve. Great is Kevin Showtime Woodley. Great is Dwayne Muckett. Aubrey David. Who again we have? He selects some keepers here. None of them keeper. He's thinking it's Fonset and them fellas getting selected, but no luck with that. But salute to the whole team. I'll be there on Wednesday. I can't take leaving the stadium, losing to Grenada or drawing. I can't handle them kind of things. So Angus, let me just do the right thing. Do what is necessary. Open up and be. I don't want to hard take 1-0 thing neither. I want to be comfortable. I want to score 3 in the first minute and be comfortable. Buy him a little nuts on whatever it is, pause and enjoy the little football in the stadium Wednesday. We don't want no heartache and no worries. I'll even only this week, but because the Soca Warriors, again, we traded on hope and inspiration, right? And it's been a while since, before Angus, the Soca Warriors wasn't giving you much, a whole lot of hope and inspiration. So I want to get a flashback. I want to get a memory of a Trinidad and Tobago team that used to give you hope and inspiration, and they inspire some things like this.
This one dedicated to all Strike Force Massive. Man like Clayton Morris, Dwight York, Dexter Lee, and Maurice Alabi for the victory. Play ball!
Victory to the Strike Force of TNT. Because we know for sure we on the road to Italy. Because the answer lowest to put it in the net for we. And bring pride and joy to the people in this country. Pass the ball to the left. Pass the ball to the right. Pass the ball, make me do it same way. We are gonna play whether night or day. Victory to the Strike Force of TNT. Because we know for sure we on the road to Italy. Because the answer lowest to put it in the net for we.
Let's see if you'll take over.
Here we go. We just keep on fighting. Watch. And our team is as fast as lightning. On and on. On and on. On and on. Check the danger. Oh, there's a lean at the area.
Let's hear about Dexter Lee.
The danger. Oh, there's a lean at the area.
Licks like fire, tell you, licks like pizza. We are the best in the West Indies. What do? Licks like fire, me say, licks like pizza.
Hello, we beat up Grenada, please.
Check the danger.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be in the area. Check the danger. Oh, I'll be in the area. We just keep on fighting. And our team is as fast as lightning. On and on. On and on. On and on. They believe them are rough. They believe them are rough. But them not tough like we. Them not tough like we.
Why?
Cause anytime we come dangerous. And anytime we come cantankerous. Trinbago is so good, we make them so nervous.
Yeah.
Cause when we have to play, we make them afraid of us. When we put on a beat, they come jump to the feet. Hear them say,
What I say?
Playboy. And when TNT score and the crowd start to roar, hear them say, two more, two more.
Yes, that was a victory. And now we're going with a new dance to celebrate. Watch now. We will beat them with these. Licks like fire, Mr. Licks like these. We put in a one, we put in a two. And when we get the victory, everybody start a chant. Everybody come on to the football dance. We do the football dance, we do the football dance. Everybody go be doing the football dance. And when they doing the football dance, everybody singing. Out of them out, that's what them saying. TNT. We want a goal, we put it in one, we put it in two. TNT. We want a goal. Watch me now. They say we get them two, come and say we get them three. That's silver carry me to Italy. Me say we get them two, come and say we get them three. That's silver carry me to Italy. Football dance, we do the football dance. Everybody do it to the football dance. We do the football dance.
Blast from the past. Listen, all have a safe. And listen, I also want to say salute to Sizzler. So I see Sizzler, Supercat, all of them here. As we have a dancehall song saluting the Trinidad team, I want to say salute to Sizzler. Sizzler had some great messages for the youth in Trinidad and Tobago. I hope if they come out and they take in Sizzler, they'll listen to what Sizzler say carefully. But the great show in the Savannah over the weekend from everything I understand. But listen, we have a long week. Pace yourself. I know all you're accustomed working 2 or 3 days a week. Pace yourself, take your time. The weekend soon come. Go to work every day this week. Don't shorten up the week more than it done. You know what I mean? Do a full day pay for a full day work or whatever you're supposed to say that the right way. And I will talk to you next week. Bye. Stay safe.